but we're here, and it's more important right now to be here than ever.
100%. I mean, the best way to honor Charlie's legacy is to actually be out here, to doing this, to be unafraid, to not back down.
Donald Trump Jr. tells Megyn Kelly a one-of-a-kind story about Charlie Kirk. Folks, I think you're going to like this, all right? Charlie was a very special guy, and God rest his soul, irreplaceable, truly. He was a machine, he was a workhorse, and it's just insane the hours he put in. Who does that kind of remind you of? I'm going to say Donald Trump Jr.'s father, President Trump, of course. Both men are extreme workhorses to a point where you wonder, are they even human? So without further ado, we're going to get right into it. It's going to be great, but first do me a big favor by liking our video and sharing it around. That way we can keep bringing you all this great, hard-hitting content. As always, Patriots, I'm your host, Arian, and this is Resist the Mainstream.
We were going to do this tour. We announced this tour 2 days before Charlie was killed, and then the question was raised by basically everybody, do we still do this tour? And I know how I felt, and I know how you felt. It's not exactly how my husband felt. But we're here, and it's more important right now to be here than ever.
100%. I mean, the best way to honor Charlie's legacy is to actually be out here, to doing this, to be unafraid, to not back down. I think, yeah, thank you. I know I was supposed to do something with him literally the week after that, and as you mentioned sort of in the intro, you know, I met Charlie, I think he was 19 or just turned 20, and it was 2015 at the beginning of that cycle, and a couple friends of mine actually from Texas were like, you know, you have to meet this guy, he's great, he's charismatic, and he knows everything about politics. I'm like, wow, that sounds great, because no one here knows anything. Yeah, I've told you this before, but it was like when they were like, you're colluding with Russia. I'm like, guys, if you knew what was going on in that campaign, like we couldn't collude to order a cheeseburger, okay? So like, relax.
Slow your roll.
Relax, Adam Schiff, like, give me a break. But, you know, they're going on and on about how great this guy is, and they're like, okay, well, he's, you know, he just turned 20. I'm like, okay, enough. Like, stop.
We're good.
You know, if there's one thing we had no shortage of, it was guys that didn't know what the hell they were doing. We didn't need someone else who also didn't know what the hell they were doing. But these guys were persuasive, and I sat down, and in 5 minutes, I was like, oh.
What's incredible is that Charlie Kirk founded Turning Point USA when he was, guess what age? 18 years old. He co-founded it. He was barely an adult. That's pretty remarkable. He has a little story about it that he's talked about in the past, but he was in community college, wasn't feeling it, decided, I just want to be a businessman. I don't want to be in college. He kind of had the view of like, look, those who can't teach do, and I'm ready to do. So quite incredible. What were you doing at 18? I can only speak for myself, but when I was 18 years old, I was, yeah, let's not talk about that. Enough about that.
Describe that Charlie versus the Charlie we knew before he was taken from us.
Honestly, it was the same. You just knew it was a generational talent. You know, I don't know much, but I think, you know, if there's one thing I've probably proven to be fairly decent at in the last decade or so is sort of just understanding talent. And I recognized it in an instant. I mean, it was literally 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, interview's over. Like, you're traveling with me. And, you know, he spent the next, 6-7 months. It was everything. I mean, he'd be making calls. I mean, I have great pictures of Election Day 16, and I think it was close to like 75 radio interviews. And we were just sort of moving east to west as the polls were shutting down. I'm, screaming at Sean Hannity, be like, just get me on in Western Florida because there's a time difference there, and I can still get a couple people to the polls because, whatever wasn't showing up. And, Charlie was basically just in the background operating, my Twitter and other social media handles from my desk in my office as I'm going through this. And it was just such an amazing experience. But again, he perhaps got better, but he was always so good. He was just going to be better than everyone else anyway. It didn't take much maturation. He just always had it.
He truly was a generational talent, and there's probably never going to be a replacement for him. Speaking of which, there's been a lot of discussion about that. Who is going to take, the reins of Charlie Kirk? Who's going to do it? And some, it seems some people are floating this Ryland Hollyland character in certain circles. He's this 18-year-old guy, Southern dude, who's doing his own Turning Point campus tour that he actually claimed he was partnering with Turning Point. And then Tyler Boyer, the COO, came out and said, no, he's not. So that's a little bit of drama there. But frankly, I don't think anybody can really replace Charlie Kirk. So it'll be interesting to see how Turning Point evolves and handles this. Let's put things in perspective. Charlie Kirk did a lot of stuff. He had a podcast every single day for about 3 hours, or at the very least, Monday through Friday. He traveled often 300 days or more out of the year. Just think about that for a second. He put on the most crowded and populated youth conservative conferences ever seen in the world, I'm pretty sure, let alone the United States. He was doing so much. He had to often unite the old guard, so to speak, and new guard of conservatism, where certain issues, particularly foreign policy, are heavily contended against each other. The guy was doing a lot. You know, it's not like he did one job as Turning Point CEO. It was more like 6 in 1. I don't know, maybe more. Really quite incredible. And speaking of incredible, Megyn Kelly actually gave a tribute to Charlie Kirk and the impact that his legacy has had on people. Take a look at this.
Charlie Kirk was brilliant. He loved everyone and saw every person as God's sacred child. He did not believe in dividing people by race. He did not believe in ostracizing gays. He did not believe one could change one's biological sex, nor that people confused in this regard were not worthy of our love and attention. He believed in a strong border. He held no disdain in his heart for working class America and felt defensive of them when they came under the left's ruthless attacks. He believed America is the greatest country on earth that has ever been or will ever be, and wanted it to thrive as a loving, ethical Christian land. This is Charlie Kirk, the man who inspired a worldwide revival of faith, whose movement, as he hoped it would, will now long outlive him, who we lost to an assassin's bullet too soon and too violently at age 31. Loving husband to Erica, adoring father of a little girl and a baby boy, a son, a brother, a friend, and who does not deserve this scorn heaped upon him. Charlie, we've got your back. We know who you were, and we already miss you terribly.
It's so sad what happened to Charlie Kirk and his family. Please, I urge you guys, keep them in your prayers. I just saw a video the other day of Charlie Kirk's daughter, beautiful young girl, seeing a banner of Charlie while she was just in the car riding with somebody who was driving her. And she immediately went, "Daddy, look, it's Daddy, Charlie Kirk." It's heartbreaking. It's horrible. This is a man who, he was a father, he had 2 children, he had his wife, and they're all left behind without him. And what's maybe more disgusting than all these leftists we've seen celebrating Charlie's passing, as horrifying as that is that some of those same people are even celebrating his family being left without him, particularly his young little children. People saying stuff like, "Oh, haha, looks like they're not going to grow up with a fascist father anymore. Oh, it's so great." Lord, have mercy on my soul, because the thoughts that I have about these people are uncharitable and unchristian. All right, and I'm going to leave it at that. It's really difficult to see. What do you guys think? All right, make sure you comment below. Let us know what you think about this video, Charlie Kirk's legacy, whatever else you might want to say. We really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below, and that way we'll see you again soon. And to our returning subscribers, thank you for coming back. God bless.